Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure of the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. And today we're doing some upper back movements. Here we go. Exercise number 1 today we're doing is the reverse grip lat pull down. This exercise movement is one of my favorites because it works your grip strength, your biceps, and most importantly, works that lat area that also protects those ribs in the seat. Exercise number 2 today, the dumbbell chest supported row. Don't forget, good stretch at the bottom and bring them right to your hips like that, keeping your back nice and arched, shoulders back. Think about having good posture in the cart. Exercise number 3, the inverted Smith machine rows. Grip strength, back strength, overall amazing workout. Thanks again for joining me on another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. Race ready training that carries into real life.
Motorsport is reinventing itself, and our mission is to accelerate this transformation so that it becomes even more efficient, cleaner, more spectacular, and more sustainable. Welcome to the next generation of motorsport. TotalEnergies and Peugeot co-developed the 9X8, an eco-responsible hybrid electric hypercar capable of outstanding performances.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsports Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make weight. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
Attention Superkarts USA drivers. Be sure to order your complete photo package from On Track Promotions. All drivers receive a minimum of 40 photos from throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with instant access from our automated delivery system. Visit otp.ca right now to get instant access to your photos.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopAKR.com. At ShopAKR.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want. Like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need. All at ShopAKR.com.
too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCarrot.com. At ShopPayCarrot.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCarrot.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Motorsport.
Cut. You all right, man? You sound way off.
What?
I don't know, you sound like you're asleep still. Is the age finally getting to you? You're only how old, 42?
Dude, I'm 27. I'm not even 3 years older than you.
Well, that's pretty old. Well, that's 3 years away from Masters, dude. You need a little pick-me-up. Try a Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Do you walk around with these in your pockets?
I actually do. Always two, one for me and clearly one for you.
Whatever. Not that old, dude.
Did it help though?
Yeah.
Pericazo. And you are that old.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to America's Heartland, the 12th consecutive year the Superkarts USA Summer Nationals has been hosted at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Myself, Xander Clements, along with Rob Howden and Caleb Vieska down on pit lane, bringing you the coverage here for this weekend. Another great turnout at the Summer Nats, Rob, but over the 12 years, I cannot think that the weather has been anywhere remotely close to as nice as it has been this weekend.
Well, that's interesting, Xander. It's kind of the talking point yesterday when I just chatted with all the drivers. I said, how are you guys doing? This track's great. I feel good. I can't believe this weather right now. Mid-70s, high 70s yesterday. You know, we're normally used to something in the 90s. Humidity hits it up over 100. This is a very pleasant weekend when it comes to the Summer Nationals.
Oh, it's just been unbelievable. Highs in the low 70s, sweater weather, jackets on in the mornings, 80s, a 70% humidity and above. Just sweating buckets out here. But the Summer Nationals certainly feeling more like a fall Nationals this year, even though it concludes a very busy summer stretch for many. And 220 plus are here at the SKUSA Pro Tour finale, including packed grids in the marquee classes, 35 plus across the board for Pro X30 and Pro Shifter. Performance over the Pro Tour. Joe Turney, as we see one driver off here, Joe Turney, 3 wins over 4 rounds already, an unprecedented year if you don't go back to his previous time that he won the Pro Tour. His only other campaign was back in 2023, and he was dominant back then as well. Wins it all 3 weekends on the season, but doesn't mean it's out of reach. In fact, he's right around his championship contender, Gus Lawrence, just up the road.
You know, anytime you get a guy like Joe Turney who comes back here to run in the U.S., you know his pedigree, how quick he is, how he's able to kind of manage races. Sometimes he doesn't look like he's the fastest driver on the track midway through, but somehow he ends up being in that battle at the very end. But again, it is you know, championship weekend. Got a couple of races here. The drivers who are going to battle him, who are potentially in a, still a mathematical position to win a championship, they almost need to have perfect weekends. He can almost manage this thing home with a couple of top 5 finishes.
And again, talking about Joe Turney managing those races, right? His bad day, his off day that threw us all off guard was still a 5th. Yeah. It was unbelievable how good he was still able to manage his worst, and that's what's made everything so difficult on the rest of the field. Gus Lawrence had a rough go being on the outside lane at the start of one of the main events at the opener in Tucson, got sent to the back of the field, had an exceptional drive at round 3, the only other winner on the season, and he enters this weekend second in the pre-drop standings, a little bit further back with the drops factored in, but still extremely close and still certainly possible. Here's what they would look like with the drops currently factored in. Paulie Massimino 120 back, Lawrence 125 back. But again, Turney coming into Saturday with such a high drop round already, he could easily seal the deal today if he can get a good qualifying effort in, a solid pre-final, and probably a top 10 off the back of that, depending on how the pre-final shakes out. Put this championship away with a round to go.
You know, Xander, we always talk about not leaving any points on the table, right? So if you're a Massimino or a Lawrence, you've got to put the thing on the pole. Do whatever you can. You need to be quick out of the gate. So those points that are up for grabs, there's only 10 points for pole, but so crucial. So again, these drivers that want to challenge him are going to have to step up. That's why qualifying is going to be so interesting to watch. In a lot of these categories, Xander, where it's kind of close, the bottom line is you can't leave any points on the table. You got to grab everything you can. The pole position, those 10 bonus points, could be critical in some of these closer races.
And you would think, again, based on the track record we've been talking about, he would be the one for the most momentum or highest ranked driver for pole. But yesterday's fastest man in happy hour is once again quick here at the end of warm-up. Ruben Moya, the Spanish Salmon, at a 68.183, ripping that last lap around 7 thousandths clear over JT. Donovan Bonilla 3rd. Jake Drew on his 2nd appearance with the Rolison Performance Group camp in 4th. And rookie Eric Doan, a solid backup to his top 10 performance in happy hour yesterday in 5th. But a very close field. I was very impressed yesterday, Rob, with how close the field was. And it's this class, along with Pro Shifter, we'll be talking about 2 types of championships to keep in mind. First and foremost, a fight for the title. Turney 120 points up on Massimino, Lawrence, and a bigger gap back to Ramos and Drew, who are going to be outside shots, hoping for a really rough Summer Nats and the beautiful weather for JT. But beyond that, of course, you also have the championship conversation about the cut line of the top 10. Circle of Champions Fund is a huge boost for all these drivers.
Blake Nash, Davin Roberts, you look how close it is down there at the bottom of the top 10. That is a very, very hot zone of whether or not you get about a $5,000 prize package and upwards from there to the $10K cash plus another $5K trade value and entries and tires for the champ. But it's $1,000 cash and more all on the line. When we return from the SKUSA Pro Tour Summer Nationals coverage, it's time to qualify and set the grids for round number 5.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
Let's go race.
Come on, man. Well, welcome back, everyone, here to Newcastle Motorsports Park in Spiceland in Newcastle, Indiana. Once again, myself, Xander Clemens, alongside Rob Hallidan and Caleb Vieska down in the pit lane. That'll be getting us all kinds of intel throughout the day, along with the rest of our KC and EKN teams. We've got K100 Master on the racetrack, presented by its new partner for the remainder of the Pro Tour here for the finale weekend, Mint Motorsports. 6 drivers on the lineup as it kicks off qualifying, and it's a short qualifying session, and as always, it'll be probably a mix of either 4 laps if everyone's full gas out of the pit lane for the slightly slower or lower horsepower classes, potentially 5 for the X30 Juniors and Pro X30s. We'll see how many we get here in K Master, because obviously it's a long out lap. The grid right there here at the exit of turn number 3 leads them out onto the circuit. And this class will be hopefully filled up in a very short amount of time. This year with the adjusted schedule, Rob, of course, the Summer Nationals normally proceeds right into registration for the SKUSA Super Nationals with the new partnership with KSG and being the organizers in parallel for the Rotax Max Challenge events. The RMC US Trophy Final next week will be the lead-in, and the following week we'll open up registration for the Lone Master Division at the Super Nats as the Rotax classes return there. So no doubt about it, it won't just be 6 we'll be seeing in Vegas. We'll see another packed house as we've seen over the years.
Yeah, thankfully I got a chance to race back in 2022 in that packed KA Master category. You know it'll sell out for sure. Masters drivers will be diving into that KA category at the Super Nats this year. And I would love to have seen some more drivers here. Hope to have seen Phil DeLeo and Josh Sarche, the Mach 5 Motorsports drivers, who were stars, of course, in the first 2 events on this year's Pro Tour. DeLeo, the point leader, coming in with 1,140 points. Sarche in third as they bookend Mario Barrios. And I spoke with Mario yesterday afternoon as well, and he really wanted to see those guys come out to potentially battle it out for the championship. But they did not make the trek from Arizona here to Newcastle, so Barrios essentially, Xander, will just cruise to the championship here.
And so that will, of course, put at least one class out of the way for the championships. The rest of them are all going to be pretty up in the air, and knowing how this track plays out in qualifying, this will probably be the tamest qualifying session we will see by far Pro Shifter, obviously, with the two-stage knockout qualifying will be coming up shortly. They're third up on the lineup for the even and odd group. They were also about as close as we've seen them in final practice over the season thus far. So that'll be interesting to see who makes the cut in the top 6 of their group to fight for Super Pole. But the rest of the classes at 20, 25, 30, and 35 apiece. I believe a near full grid in one of the K100 divisions as well of almost 40. They'll be split in 2 groups for the most part, and they will be fighting for what we're seeing right here start to unfold for the 404 PSL karting machine, and that's going to be trying to get the toe off of the rest of the field.
That's it. Again, this is one of those big draft tracks, as we know. The running the shark fin coming out of scoreboard is going to change that a little bit. You're not going to get that toe you normally would down into the I-70 left-hander, but that long straightaway coming out of that left-hander, that big long run, we'll see some drag races to the line, no doubt about that as well. But yeah, this is definitely a track where the draft will come into play, especially in the lower horsepower categories, in the medium micro classes, but it does play a role, especially in qualifying. You have to time it correctly. You don't want to get held up by the driver in front of you, but ideally, if you time it correctly, you're going to get that little bit of a pull coming down to start finish. Finally getting some times laying down here for KA100 Master Mario Barrios of the Rawlson Performance Group. Cosmic going P1 here early with a 112.917. Ming Yang Yu sitting in the second spot. Tyler Prestel, Mike Rawlson, Christian Smith, and Jose De La Garza Elizondo now running in 6th. Good to see Mike Rawlson back behind the wheel. Going to jump there on the kart to see if he can, of course, help out his teammates. A lot more data for Zhu and Barrios, so always like seeing when Mike puts that helmet on.
And as usual, it was not initially expected. We didn't see him on the pre-entry list, but Raleigh saw that there was a chance and he was set up good enough that he was going to be able to put the helmet on. So here we go to the line as the checkers fly. Will we see any changes? They will get a little closer, but ultimately it'll still be Prestel, it looks like, hanging on for the top time in qualifying, or sorry, Barrios there as it updates. Barrios at a 112.497. Ming Nanzu, Prestel, Raleigh at a 13.2 on that last lap. He was one of the only ones to improve. 3 of the 6 going better on lap 3, and again, only 3 laps. That'll be important to note. So 3 laps, really your money lap. Going to be the final one unless you go high enough on air pressure to give yourself that mulligan and hopefully punch a good one on lap 2. Wasn't the case for Barrios. Lap 3, good enough to hold 1/10 margin with that buzzer beater time at a 72.91.
Top 4 drivers within about 3.5 tenths of a second, so I think that's potentially going to be your battle there. Both Smith and Elizondo need to find some pace if they want to hang with these drivers as they get rolling for their pre-final later today, the main event as well. I know I felt the same way. I ran this category a couple of years ago, and I was good for the first 10 laps. The pre-final, I was good through the pre-final. The main event, I kind of fell on my face a little bit. I hadn't trained enough, but I did get a chance to race this particular track in the other direction. But the bottom line is that once we go racing, it doesn't matter how many guys you have on the track. A couple drivers makes a good race.
Certainly. Doesn't take a lot to tango. We will see them in action and more. We return. Qualifying continues here from Newcastle.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
Welcome to the
So first qualifying session underway and done. Second one now getting going here as K Junior takes to the racetrack, presented by TKG Bureau Art USA. Cooler temperatures certainly catching a couple drivers out here on the out lap as Valentino Santillan leads this group around, followed by what looks to be a couple of drivers that have equally run towards the front. How about his Holtz DD teammate recently, Darren Kidd, got his first career national win on at the Stars Championship Series 2 weeks ago. The most recent time the traveling circus was bouncing around over the summer stretch. A whole lot of events at TKG Bureau Art USA's home at the MCC Cincinnati Kartplex. Of course, the host of the Spring Nats from earlier. And now back over to Newcastle. Kidd back to third. Santillan leads us around. And again, 3 laps, relatively spread out, but this is only half of the group, so we always normally see the fast group playing the games a little more. This group seems like they're trying to maximize the minutes.
Xander, you mentioned the temperature and a little cooler here. This is not a summer Nats we're used to. 65 degrees here trackside. A lot of sun right now. It's going to get up to likely high 70s, low 80s today, but it's a cooler morning, as you had mentioned. Going to change things in qualifying a little bit. There you have it right there, 62.8 degrees. Track temp at 81 degrees, so a unique situation. You see the number of drivers stacking up here as well. This is not the way to get it done. And here we go. We're going to do some side action here, a little side-by-side. Couple drivers checking up. Got to watch out for impeding here as well. I know you're trying to find the right driver to pair up with, but Superkarts USA looking very closely at drivers impeding others, trying to slow up to get themselves in the right position. Saw one driver kind of bail away from the start of that one, Xander. We're finally going to get a lap time in here, but yeah, you got to be smart here in the opening couple of laps.
Yeah, that first lap is probably your best window if you are going to try and bounce around the pack. But again, a pack this close is going to be risky no matter any way that you slice it, just because you might make that one pass on lap 1 and think that you're now going to be in a good spot, and then all of a sudden the driver behind you finds a little more speed on lap 2 and goes right back in. And we see that in action right here off the rip once again. So a pass going back. That was Lawrence Perriman dropping back one position. It was the 8-10 of Cameron Johnson, his first weekend with Rolison Performance Group. Now at the front of this kind of 6-kart contingent, headed through the green corner, really almost 9. There's another 3-pack further back. They'll be in a pretty prime spot. We saw off the beginning of this first lap, Valentino Santillan, Darren Kidd were starting to slow going into I-70 to drop back and try to have someone else lead the train so they could get a good lap. Like you said, the shark fin layout here, we've run it backwards 2 years ago. We've run it now this way, and it splits that main straight up. Whereas before, without that shark fin, I feel like sometimes I-70, as tempting as it would be to pass someone, knowing that you had a big draft zone right after, it was almost one of the worst spots to make a pass mid-race, because they would just line the cavalry up behind them and go right back by you on the main straight. That's not so much the case here, because it's a little bit harder to pull that pass off into that corner. You're going a little bit slower. Still certainly doable.
It's also the corner we're going to see guys start to defend on when we do go racing. You defend in I-70. That's the one that brings everybody back in, right? You'd run the inside line, try to low line into I-70. You don't get the run out of the corner. It just brings everybody back into the fight. And that's one of, I think, the key components about the raceability of this track here at Newcastle. If you run the racing line, you're going to be able to pull away drivers up front. But the minute you go on the defense, whether it's on the entry into scoreboard, into I-70, even if you try it on the way into the shark fin, you're just going to stack everybody back up. That's one of the reasons why you could have a 2-driver breakaway, and if you start battling with 4 or 5 laps to go, everybody's back in the hunt.
And it stacks up so much too, because the track going into the shark fin and then sweeping back out over to I-70, if you go to the inside to defend, say into the shark fin even, you just kind of rinse out to the inside of the very next corner. It's just back and forth, left and right. So quickly we can see the pack stack up just as much as it would off a huge run into that corner in a longer break zone with this layout, if not more so. But now a lap, 2 laps, and on lap 3, timers should have hit 0, but it looks like the first bit of the group got in before the 5-minute mark. So these kids we're watching here, Cameron Johnson leading them, I think are going to get 4.
Another lap coming around. Right now, Johnson, Perriman, Kidd, Haight, and Sentian, the top 5 drivers here. Let's see, with that one extra lap, what happens here. You can see it is Cameron Johnson leading the way here. Got to be smart. Drivers behind him going to have to leverage him. You can't make a move here, Xander, on the last lap. You're really locked where you are. Work together, try to push if you can. See if you can't come away with a good time.
Yeah, especially on the run of that kind of bend into the green corner. If you make a pass there, you're really going to be hurting. Even here, going into I-70, if you stuff someone on the last lap, hoping they'll push you back to the line when they probably won't, you're going to give up more than if you would just wait like this and pull out at the line. Darren Kidd's going to try and maximize it on his final time. It will be enough to go to the quickest time on the group, 71.69. And Lawrence Perriman following him, jumping up 2.
I like how Kidd handled that, right? We talk about the fact that he could have looked in. He was a little bit quicker, but got that good run coming out of turn, the final corner. I'm not sure what number that is here with this particular layout. But yeah, got a great run there. Got a little bit of a draft coming through the final corner. Was able to pip Perriman at the line as well. So good stuff for the 3 drivers who worked together during that first half of the session.
So it looked like 10 of them were able to get 4 laps in. 11th on back. A couple more. It looks like most of the group was able to get all 4. So 4 laps, if you don't mess around on the out lap, that's going to be the big question here as the fast group gets released. Yeah. So we've got
foreshadowing there, right?
17 on the board so far. 17 more released here as Ashton Woon commands them and takes it through the bus stop here on the first time.
Yeah, getting out quick, not waiting at all. So a 2-driver little breakaway here. Great idea to get away and get things rolling. Open racetrack. Not having to worry about anybody else. Ashton Woon was the quickest driver yesterday, I believe, too, on Fast Friday in the happy hour, 111.127. Travis Pettit was right there. Dominic Gaddis, Colton Schniegenberg, Braden Wagner, those 5 drivers, the top of yesterday afternoon's happy hour session. So Woon knows he's got a good hot rod. Get out there and get it done and try to see if he can't, get those points. I talked about the championship. Those 10 points for pole. You cannot leave those out there. You got to grab him. He's in the middle of a championship battle with Tristan Murphy and Travis Pettit. Can't let anything go away.
2 together here. That's William Vitor and Tucker Trebe on the exit of the scoreboard hairpin that have collided on the out lap. So they'll be now in no man's land way back. You see Ashton Woon now has dropped behind Dominic Gaddis to start this session here after the first lap going out to bring the tires up to temp. The rest of the group a little further back there with the GFC machine leading a handful of them along with Nathan Golseth, Colton Schniegenberg. There's Pettit on the 802 BJR machine as well.
Got to make sure you have that open track. These, Xander, if we end up getting 4 laps, you can burn the first couple, right? You talked already about the fact that where they come out in what is essentially turn number 3, that opening lap, getting the heat in the tires, you're not even on the clock yet for another full lap. So it takes almost 2 full laps to get on the clock. But if you're getting these 4 laps, good opportunity then to potentially burn the first 2. Make sure you get the heat in the tires and then position yourself on the racetrack to be around the guys you want and have that gap. You talked about what Ashton Woon did, led early, drop back behind Gaddis. We'll see if that works for him to be able to get that draft he's looking for.
Yeah, the driver that you'd be most worried about is the one GFC we mentioned there, Braden Wagner in the bright yellow helmet. He got passed a couple times this lap. He still has more karts right on his heels, so he's hoping at this point he's already cleaned those tires up enough in the last couple of corners that he'll be able to ride in line with where he's at and go off the coattails of Nathan Golseth and Tristan Murphy that lead this pack. Otherwise, again, you get passed on lap 3, you run the risk of not knowing if you're going to get to that 4th lap and if you're going to be, again, back in optimal conditions. But when you're further back in the pack like he is there, you are at the mercy of the cars in front. They went side by side for 4th in line. Pettit now making a pass on Murphy 2nd in line. That burns this lap for him. And so it only puts really Travis Pettit and Nathan Golseth in the driver's seat for a good time here. Ashton Woon, the last lap by, towed up to the back of Dominic Gaddis probably quicker than he hoped. And he put in a good lap, but he's already back on the bumper of him, if not already past him, and going to be going by himself. And it looks like he has gone by him, so he'll go no toe. And this will be a good read for both of us here, Rob, to see how much working together like Golseth and Pettit are getting ready to do on this final lap versus going on your own. How big is that draft delta going to be on this year's layout in KA Junior, coming to what should be one more lap around for at least this big group. And they all should get one more. Let's see how the leaderboard changes. Pettit will jump up to third. Lawrence Perriman and Darren Kidd are still holding strong at the top.
Yeah, 1:11.698, still provisional pole for Darren Kidd. Pettit goes to third. Alex Chandler up into fifth. Colton Schniegenberg sixth. Ashton Woon by himself, as we had said, in seventh right now, 1:11.895, less than 2/10 back. So Woon with the open track. We'll see what he's able to put in here. Pettit's got open racetrack as well, though. Although had to work his way into that position, getting by a couple of drivers. We talked about him burning lap number 2. He definitely has open racetrack right now, and I guarantee that driver behind him more than happy to stay there and see if he can't get that toe. That's Nathan Goldseth, I think.
Indeed, Nathan Goldseth, who led the pack for the first few laps. He's happy to not be the leader on this final one and push Pettit forward. If they get close enough, they might get a sniff of the draft at the end of this lap here off the back of Dominic Gaddis, who is now by himself and has lost the toe of Woon. And Woon will be the first one to the line as they go here to I-70.
Schniegenberg there as well. Watch him try to get a run. They're both going to try to get runs here on Pettit. I don't know if that Goldseth got a good enough run. Let's see if he pulls out. Not quite there yet. Looking for that pullout. Woon goes to the top. Pettit will take it.
No, they'll get one more. I thought we were closer on it.
They sneak one in again.
Yeah.
So lap 4. That was lap 3 across the line,
yeah,
right?
I was jumping ahead of it. But the checkers did go for the last few. So checkers out now. Woon still by himself. This being the fourth lap. Really, again, 5 full laps to get him up to temp. So this is a good length session.
Woon went to the top and then fell back to 8. So everybody's cycling through. So again, that open track for Woon. We'll see if it plays out. Same goes for Sam. You talked about Tristan Murphy in there as well. He goes provisional pole with a 1:11.275. Final lap for the drivers here in KA Junior.
And Murphy, that time to Woon, was a 2.5 delta. Now they have caught and had to pass Dominic Gaddis, so I don't know how good this lap will be. And Gaddis dropping a tire, kicking dirt up for the rest of them won't help things either. Into the shark fin for the final time. This is going to bottle that group up. Pettit might be in really good shape here to the end of the session. Schniegenberg and Goldseth a little less so.
Yeah, having to make the move to the inside for Schniegenberg on Gaddis. That is not going to play well for them. Let's see if Murphy's able to hold on to a final lap. Here comes Woon across the line. Does he go to the top for the first time through?
Only 8 didn't really improve. Not a lot of them improving on that last lap. In fact, none of them in that main group able to go any better. Tristan Murphy going to hang on to it. 71.275 for the 811 machine. 400s up on Marco Samet, Schniegenberg, Pettit, Goldseth, Alex Chandler, and Nico Orbezo sneaking into the top 10.
Xander, sorry, Murphy rolls in here as the point leader. We talked about the fact that you can't let any points lay on the table. Point leader grabbing the 10 points.
It's a big deal right there. Points are close, and Pro Shifter as well. Knockout qualifying coming up next.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation. Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
So we're getting ready to roll here with Pro Shifter. First up will be the even-numbered finishers from yesterday's happy hour session. Caleb Vieska standing by down in pit lane as qualifying gets set to get underway for the first of the 2 groups.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good morning as well to you, Xander, and to you as well, Rob. It's been a wild week so far, but no wilder than for Billy Musgrave, the number 1 plate. He wasn't in the car on Thursday. Theo Kakati was taking his place, and that was because Billy and his wife Chandler gave birth to their twin boys, Kobe Emmett Musgrave and William Everett Musgrave. Billy missed the day of action on Thursday. His wife Chandler told him to get his butt back out here, get back in the car, and go win another championship.
How about that? Billy Musgrave trying to become a 2-time Pro Tour champ, and in a matter as he chases it, becomes a 2-time dad instantly.
Yeah,
here.
super cool, isn't it?
Crazy, crazy weekend here. Theo Ciccotti obviously subbing in on Thursday, and Billy joining in with limited practice, but he's obviously won here before, and it was the sight of him getting the chip and the #1 plate last year. It's going to be an uphill battle, though, a gut punch in the points for Musgrave at the end of the Cincinnati main event. Had the bumper get jammed up behind the right rear tire, and then the meatball flag flew. He paused to dislodge the bumper, but again, not being able to work on the karts while they're on track, it would have been a DQ either way. And so it ended up getting him a 0 points haul from the main event. He enters more than 200 out of the lead in 5th. He'll have a big, big task ahead, but he's looking good here at the beginning of qualifying.
Yeah, track he's been good at. Same with Kyle Wick there as well, driver who's really strong here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. David Cole had a chance to chat with Kyle on a recent podcast at one of his hot seat podcasts. And Kyle was talking about the fact he loves coming to Newcastle Motorsports Park, calls it one of his favorite tracks, loves to be able to race here, and he's been good here as well. I think Wick's going to be a driver we're going to watch to potentially go for a win. Let's see what he has in terms of pace. But yeah, with he and Musgrave, the elder statesman kind of in this pro shifter category, been around a number of years, and both those drivers very fond of this racetrack here at Newcastle.
And they right now on their opening lap, everybody is tracking at the same speeds. Granted, with the long out lap here at Newcastle, it's probably par for the course that you wouldn't see a mix like we normally do here in Pro Shifter, where I feel like you have a 50-50 blend of drivers that are going to go push on the first lap and already be bringing the kart at full temp and have a slow progression over the session, versus others who will take a really slow second lap, if you will, out lap and lap 1, and then pick things up. This first lap has been pretty much across the board all even, all very close.
It'd be interesting to get the feedback from the drivers and some insight on how they'll approach it, considering the difference in the temperatures from what we would have had at Summerlands last year, right? This track obviously a little bit different than the others, the asphalt different than MCC or Tucson. And yeah, with a 65-degree temperature here, ambient temperature, the track, of course, just into the 80s now. You approach it differently. With a super hot track, maybe you only go a couple of laps. Maybe you're looking for that second lap to be the burner. But with a cooler track, Xander, you wonder maybe you'll run and expect the fast times to come on lap 4.
And you can see the clock counting down here in this session. So 1:10 to go. They, again, should have the option to potentially get to 4 laps at the rate that they're going. They'll get around to the end of lap 2, start lap 3, and be right on the limit of getting to 4. Kyle Wick here at the end of lap number 2, a 64.96. Sorry, end of lap 3 this time. Adrian Reneden and Gage Korn here on screen. Reneden last year, wicked fast, hard charger in the main after a DQ from all the sessions on Saturday. He enters this weekend, unfortunately ineligible for the Circle of Champions fund in a swap of teams. Starting the year with Velocity Sodi, then in a restructure, had him on the sidelines at Cincinnati, then linked up with Carblos Racing Engines and the Maranello USA camp housing the Sodi USA factory driver. But looking at the cut line, he's above it, now below it here with 20 seconds to go. Matias Ramirez with a big lap there at the end at 300ths above the line over Reneden, and now Vincenzo Saraceno is going to jump up the board too. Gage Korn and Saraceno in, Ramirez and Reneden on the outside.
Yeah, Saraceno in the Velocity Racing Sodi kart number 11 goes P5. Right now it's Musgrave, Kremers, Morgado, Wick, Saraceno, and Gage Korn. Top 6 drivers to transfer. Ramirez just on the outside. Renaud in there as well. Tomlinson was 6th for the first 2 laps. He finds himself back in 9th.
All coming down to the line this time by. Checkers out. Looks like everyone's going to be able to go the full distance, and they're going to try. Reneden's going to need it. Korn right behind him is the one that is one of 6 currently keeping him on the outside, looking in to fight for super pole. So it's either row 7 or a shot to go to row number 1 as the leaders get around to the line. Kremers will be one of the first to the stripe. Musgrave as well will keep the top spot. Kremers second. Here's Wick, Reneden, and Korn. Any big improvement on lap 4? Reneden will get better. It will not be enough. And now the final few. Here comes Saraceno. Debut with Velocity Sodi to keep it or improve the gap. The last few to the line right here. Tomlinson will not make it. Ramirez is out as well. And that'll seal it, I believe. Gage Korn gonna make it through to Super Pole. Vincenzo Saracino will continue his unbelievable consistency over the course of this year's season, joining a number of the contenders for the championship. Kyle Wick, Morgado, Kremers, and the two-time dad is now fast.
Musgrave and Korn, a 104.898 fast time for Billy Musgrave, riding that high from the birth of his children, and rolling here to P1 in the opening group. Again, lots more work to be done to come away with the pole for the remainder of, or the next sessions here, but Renaudin's not going to be a happy guy here.
No, that's a tough hit for Adrian Renaudin. And now Gage Korn joining the rest of the six there as the final transfers on in. Kremers and Musgrave keep their championship hopes close. And now we take a look as the pole group makes their way onto the racetrack. Danny Formal, last year's winner, was fastest in Happy Hour. The GFCs looked extremely good, but as they get underway here, we'll get ready to go back down to pit lane here with Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. I'm standing by here with Adrian Renaudin. You are the first driver out of the Super Bowl qualifying. Just talk to me about that session, Adrian.
Yeah, we didn't manage to make a good lap since yesterday. The pace is good, but in the long run, so we have to work on better pace in one good lap.
Thank you, Adrian.
Tough break there for Adrian Renaudin. And I think
just makes his weekend tougher.
Yeah.
He's not out of it, obviously, but it just makes his weekend a lot tougher.
And again, the Sodi boys did not look good yesterday. I mean, all of their group between Morgado, Dean Van Worven on his American debut, the fifth place finisher from last year's KZ2 International Cup main event that, of course, is the undercard for the KZ World Championships in Europe. Among those as well, Harley Keeble driving for the Karting Collective, another one of the satellite Sodi kart teams. Both drivers making up what could easily be another big name, potentially missing out on the run to Super Pole here in group number 2. The odd-numbered finishers from Happy Hour finishing out their outlap here and getting ready to go full speed ahead here for 4 laps.
Yeah, Danny Formal was quickest with a 104.951. Martin Kremers, Conker, Musgrave, AJ Myers, the top 5 in Happy Hour yesterday afternoon. So a lot of confidence for Formal rolling in here to see if he can't go back-to-back, having won last year. See if the GFCs continue to step up. Couple laps here for the drivers to get these Evincos up to temp. Feel this track out. Temperatures continue to rise, but much cooler today here this morning than it was yesterday afternoon for Happy Hour as well, so the conditions will be different. Grip level's a little different. Let's see who plays nicely coming out of the gate here. Expect Jay Irwin to be up there as well. GFCs are strong. Again, they got good data off of Danny Formal, so we'll see if Gulick and Pickett, Hunter Pickett and Jacob Gulick, we'll see if they leverage that as well.
And again, 3 of them all in the same group here. Kyle Wick, the lone GFC that made it through the transfer in group number 1. For group 2, our first read still has his teammates looking good to take 4 of those 12 spots in the fight for Super Pole. Gavin Bailiff deep on the brakes there into I-70 trying to get some more heat into the tires. Had nearly the full left side lifted up. Here comes Gulick and Irwin across the line along with Bailiff. AJ Myers quick time that time by. Formal second, Bailiff third. And look at all the movement around the cut zone. Dean Van Werven, Harley Keeble, half a tenth, 3/4 of a tenth apart. Justin White, only 6/1000 off of Keeble as he crosses the line. Currently ranked in 8th. And Josh Conker in the 3-plate. He was also the other big storyline post-main event in Cincinnati. Crossed the line in 6th. Musgrave's DQ sent him 5th onto the top 5 and into the tech area where the rear hub had slid in and he failed the rear track width test, and that DQ'd him as well. It's put him all the way deep outside the top 10 in the early teens in the championship points. He needs a big weekend here, and he is one of those drivers, Rob, is talking with him over the summer stretch. His career, his next season hangs in the balance of whether or not he makes it into that Circle of Champions fund or not, more than likely. So this is a big, big quali session for him to hopefully make the rest of that weekend easier. And that lap right on cue. Josh Conker up to 5th. And then quickly bump back down as more of them come on by. Kyle Drysdale now outside man.
Yeah, look at that, Xander. Literally a tenth of a second off. Just got to get that pace back up again. Myers, Formal, Bailiff, Irwin, Gulick, Pickett, currently the drivers in the top 6. Myers has had a lot of success at this racetrack. You go back to that breakout weekend. I can't remember what year it was when he rolled in here with the TB kart, him and his dad in the back of a pickup truck, rolled in and smoked everybody in the S1 category, came away with a couple of victories. So there has been a lot of success here for A.J. Myers, and no doubt he's looking to find some of that magic again here this weekend to kind of turn the season around.
Checkers out, and you can see already the number of the drivers that have, from what we can tell, gotten their final lap in. Formal showing still second, waiting on AJ to get to the line. It may populate some more so. No, Myers is in. Happy with that 64.88 on only 2 laps. That will help. Formal is into the pit lane as well. He's done. The rest of the group fighting to get in and join him. Irwin and Gulick really close here. 4th and 5th. They will jump a little bit. Irwin up to 3rd. Final across the line for Keeble. Oh, man. Harley Keeble, 8 thousandths shy of knocking Hunter Pickett out of the top 6. Kyle Drysdale, another half-tenth. Van Werven, 9th. White on the outside. Conker down to 11th. And that'll do it.
Man, 8 thousandths of a second. Keeble just on the other side of Pickett. That is massive.
A tough qualifying session here for them, but there's a look at your drivers advancing from group number 2 in the run to Super Pole. AJ Myers quickest out of the odd-numbered group. Danny Formal second. Irwin, Gavin Bailiff, Jacob Gulick, and Hunter Pickett, your 6 drivers that will advance to Super Pole. We head down to the scale lines with Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. Fastest of that group was AJ Myers. Only 2 laps. All you needed to go fastest. Tell me about it, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, the car was there, and just kind of timed that lap perfectly with catching up to Josh Conker there, and perfect slipstream to the line. I saw it at a 104. Maybe there's another 10th in it, but it's good enough. We'll see what we have in Super Pole.
And again, you only did 2 laps. Super Pole is only 2 laps. Kind of talk to me about the thought process heading into that one.
Send it. Don't make a mistake. Get pole.
Thank you, AJ. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Really good point, though, right? He went out and did 2 laps. He's going to do exactly the same thing. That kart set up nicely where it's going to come in exactly where he wants it to. Second lap was good enough. You look down, you see that 104. You're into the 104s. You saw that it was a 104.8 for Musgrave. He knows he's in the top 6. Park it, take care of the tires, and get back out for that 2-lap Super Pole run.
And oh, so close it was there at the end of quali. You can see here Josh Conker and Justin White there on screen as they roll through. Sadly, they will not be in contention to fight for the top honors in our top 12 drivers that move on to Super Pole. We'll show you all of them when we get ready to roll. In the meantime, of course, the qualifying sessions roll because they've got to do a quick run-through tech to make sure that all is clear. And Micro Swift making its way out onto the racetrack here, the youngest superstars being the gap class in between, while the pro shifters roll through and the top 12 restage over on the grid for qualifying. In total, 25 deep here in the Micro Swift class presented by Grupo Santana Vega.
Obviously looking at the championship, this is the title weekend, right? Championship weekend here at the Summer Nationals. Coming in here, Bo Wyatt with the point lead, 1,039 points, a solid little advantage over Trey Sanders and Tristan Francisco. But again, not like a pro shifter category with just a certain amount of races. Lots of points still up for grabs here on the doubleheader weekend. So we'll see what happens to get things out underway here. Bo Wyatt, though, your point leader coming in. We'll make sure we keep an eye on where he rolls out here. But yeah, we are rolling here. What do you think, 3 laps? I don't know that they'll be able to get the 4 based on speed.
It's going to be close. Yeah. I mean, we've been relatively, I wouldn't say lenient on the 5-minute timer, but yeah, I think these ones may be the first ones to only do 3. K Masters doing 4 gives, I think, a little bit of hope. They're not terribly far off of them. But again, it's also a big group of karts on track, so we might see the first couple get around to get a bonus one.
Indeed. We'll see. Opening laps in, drivers getting settled. See the packs kind of forming up here to find out who's going to work together. 221 and Dusty Strayer out the lead of this group here. Capatiello right behind him. Those drivers working together. Bo Wyatt right there as well in the Bennick. Try to position yourself well. So much strategy part of a qualifying session here. You leave that grid, you got, like as Xander said earlier, kind of the the first lap, the lap around to first get to the timing stripe. And then the next one, that's a loop around there for Dusty Strayer.
Speed Concepts Racing 221 with a run to the spin cycle.
I've done that there.
Yeah.
You drop that wheel coming out of the shark fin. That's the last thing you want to do. I think I was running 6th in the CKNA heat race and did that. You're trying to take all the racetrack on the exit. It doesn't take much. It's a bit of a dip there as well for the drivers who have gone off. Man, you hang a wheel like that, loop it around, tough one for Dusty.
Yeah, here's another look at it. Right up on the edge, and he'd already kind of washed up at the center of the corner too, right at the edge of where the grip is and the marbles begin, and you could see there, just took him, once he got high in the center, all the rest of the way.
Hey, good job to keep it straight and get back on it. Remember, that was only probably on the out lap or maybe lap number 1, so it may not hurt him. Might be able to bounce back here. Just got to get the focus again. You know, it kind of shakes things up a little bit in the mindset, but just put your head back down, find out where you are, get in that group, and go to work.
Big group of go-karts right here in the middle that he now finds himself in. And, of course, he was quick in happy hour, so he was in a great spot. Now he's having to fight through some traffic. Looks like he was able to get one spot back further forward. And now at the front of the pack and begins to aim for probably a hope at just a good third lap here, with this second lap kind of being his reset. On the other end of the spectrum, as we watch timing underway here, it looks like it's been a great start so far for Francisco, Trey Sanders, Bo Wyatt, all initially populating to the top of the pylon. Minute 20 to go per the times. Compatiello will now reset fast time. Yeah, this one's going to be on the limiter. They're running minute 20, so I think this pack altogether, led by Dusty, might only get 3 now.
Trey Sanders to the top here on lap number 2, 1:16.950. Liam Compatiello, Bo Wyatt, Tristan Francisco, and Cohen Scott. Your current fast 5. Just on the outside of that top 5 is Kip Knaus, Bryson Barnett, Brody Allegretta, James Fox, and Chase Zolman. So right now, top 10 separated by about 1.5 seconds, but watch for these drivers to start putting those laps in here. Once those tires get up to temp, we'll see if they can do something here in the last couple of laps, if indeed they're able to get to 4.
Yeah, I think that first group here, ahead of where Dusty is, the first 5 or so, he got going pretty quickly. You can already see a big chunk of them headed up to I-70 past the shark fin. He's now headed into the scoreboard hairpin and out of it. So Dusty Strayer's group, I think, maybe the first to get the checkers. The pack in front of them that has the majority of your top 10 runners, including this kid here in the 213, Liam Compatiello, Bo Wyatt right behind him. And then there's a look at Tristan Francisco. No, they'll all get the checkers here, so it will be 3 laps, even for them all. And at the stripe, Trey Sanders holding strong so far. Let's see what Strayer can do on his one and only probably clean lap with a little help to the line. It'll put him up okay to 9th. And it'll also bring Marcelo Andres Pena up the board to 5th. But your main contingent up front just kind of swapping the lead throughout that qualifying session. And Trey Sanders, the California native for Ryan Perry Motorsport, tops the heap.
Second place, the points coming in. He'll take those 10 and go on to the pre-final.
There you go. Trey Sanders, Liam Compatiello, Ryan Perry Motorsport. Front row lockout over Wyatt, Francisco, and Pena. We'll be back. Pro Shifter Super Pole coming up next.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
Wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win #1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarskrek Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarskrek, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarskrekRacing.com.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart, it's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macronmotorsports.net.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Here we go, folks, ready to get after it. 12 drivers set to do battle, spaced out on the racetrack over just 2 green flag laps. We know that second lap will be the money lap, and these are the 12 that have transferred to Super Pole. They'll be sent out in inverted order, so Gage Korn and Hunter Pickett, final 2 to transfer in each of their respective groups, will lead the field onto the racetrack. Jacob Gulick, Vincenzo Saracino, Gavin Bailiff, Irwin, and the rest of the contenders. Rob, who stands out to you as we take a look at our 12 ready to fight for the front row?
You know, I go to the far right lower part of the screen, A.J. Myers and Billy Musgrave. Just veteran drivers who have so much time on this particular track, different temperatures. Like I said, it's a little cooler here today than we would normally have with the summer nets. Both those drivers super strong, but the GFC guys look very good as well. I don't think you can count out Danny Formal. He was the quickest driver in happy hour yesterday. GFC crew seems to have things dialed in pretty good.
And I will say, Rob, that as the GFC boys off last year certainly enter in as the odds-on favorite. You've mentioned already A.J. Myers. His history, his track record at this specific venue is about unparalleled as any. He has had so many wins, so much success here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. You'd be hard-pressed to bet against him, but you look at the luck that he has had this year. He's going to need one of those A.J. Myers Magic Man weekends here in Indiana to keep himself with a top 10 number plate. A mechanical failure, an engine seizure at round 1. Went on the gamble after an abysmal round number 2 to go to the slick tires in the drying track race. Didn't, unfortunately, get the lucky break of the track changeover in time. So he is entering way back in the championship standings. He needs a massive, massive points haul this weekend to get into the prize fund.
Xander, I'll tell you this, you know, in the 17 years of this Pro Tour, this program launching, of course, back in 2010, the addition of the Super Pole, this qualifying program, one of the, I think, the most exciting evolutions of the series. I love Super Pole qualifying. Give me 2 laps, put the drivers out there, no messing around. You're not drafting. It's open racetrack. I love it. I just think it's the time for the driver to shine. You're not getting that draft. 2-lap qualifying. I'm all about that.
And so as we see them onto this hard amongst this 1.1, probably a 1.2 mile full layout with the added shark fin section here in the infield, they're going to be all populating across the pylon at different times. The number 34 Carlos Marinello, a Gage Korn, will be starting his final lap, and we finally get the first look at A.J. Myers' first lap across the line. So finishing the outlap underway, Kyle Wick, 2026, 2025, both years seem to have just one moment that has kept him away from being an odds-on championship favorite. Last year, it was the spin out of fighting for the race lead in speed sports at the Winter Nationals. Outside of that one blemish, if he concludes that heat race off the back of the first heat race win, and he ends up going on to have the consistent run he had in Cincinnati as well, he could have been the champ, but instead ended up with a 4-plate for the second consecutive year, and this year had a run-in with Mateus Morgado at the pre-final at Cincinnati, sent him to the back of the grid and had to fight forward, and it puts him a little further back in the championship hunt.
A little bit different season as well for Kyle Wick. Had a chance to go run in Europe as well, which I think was a fantastic opportunity for him. Just a little more experience, something else maybe to be able to draw from. But the momentum here for sure for Kyle Wick. He loves this racetrack. Talked about that in that hot seat interview with David Cole. So we'll see if it comes to fruition here. Danny Formal back to the top on his opening lap here. Not surprising. So quick and happy hour yesterday. Let's see how things play out here for the last couple laps.
Here's A.J. Myers. So bottom of the screen there, Myers and Morgado, top of the screen. A.J. is still just working on his first lap. Again, the last driver released. He and Musgrave and Kremers are just now going to come across the line to populate for their first lap. There goes Kremers. He'll go up to third. Morgado to the top. Korn able to punch the lap in to second on his final lap, and I think the way they released him, AJ just starting his first lap, they might be one off on Gage, if I'm not mistaken. Korn already 2 in. Here comes Gulick on his final lap, and he's done. The rest of the field starting to cross the line now. We're watching Morgado. He's in the green corner. There's a couple of heavy hitters even further up the road. You can see Jay Irwin headed to the I-70 corner. Kyle Wick as well. Bailiff, first one to strike here on lap number 2. Final lap underway as Myers is halfway through his session.
105.350 for Gavin Bailiff on top. Jay Irwin goes to second. Saracino now third. Here comes Danny Formal.
Big lap out of the big guy. Morgado was better than him on the opening lap. Here comes Morgado to the line. Myers out on the scoreboard. Mateus Morgado, can he steal it? Yes! Half a tenth up on Formal, but the fight continues. Here comes Musgrave out of I-70. Kremers to the line with an answer. It looks like it won't be enough for Pole. He'll go to second. Here comes Musgrave out of the last turn. Down the stretch, not enough. All on the Magic Man to dethrone Morgado at the line. Yes, sir! A.J. Myers, a full 10th clear at the end of Super Pole qualifying.
That's it. If you want to be big here, you got to step up on the big stage. A.J. Myers on the Magic Kart goes P1, 104.810, over a tenth quicker than Mateus Morgado. Great stuff out of A.J. Myers.
Big time lap here on the weekend. He's probably needed most. A good start to Newcastle and the Summer Nationals for the number 2 plate. A.J. Myers supreme over Mateus Morgado. Marin Kremers third. Danny Formal and Kyle Wick. And again, what a great job there trying to bring you all of the drivers on track as they're spread across by our production team, showing you how much Super Pole is having things going on at all angles of this 1.2 mile circuit. A.J. Myers, 64.810. He even improved about a half tenth, 700ths over his initial lap that put him through in the group stage for qualifying. Marin Kremers and Danny Formal and Mateus Morgado, the top 3 in the points, all close together.
A little note from David Cole, top 6, all former champions as well.
Big time.
Great stuff.
Big time notes there. Danny Formal looking for the biggest gap between his first and second championships of any in Pro Tour history. The 2017 S1 champion looking to go to the top. I think maybe 2016. I'll have to correct it. It'll be about a decade if he can pull it off here. Myers out of the championship hunt, but certainly in the hunt for the win here at the Summer Nats. On pole by a 10th, Caleb.
Yeah, indeed, Xander. And AJ, this is a track that's treated you well, right? Year after year. The races, the main events are a different story, but you show your pace and you've shown it again here on Saturday. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this just shows you practice, overrated. Show up Friday morning, problems, but the team put it together. Sonny Engines, Magic Kart USA. Can't do without them. I'm just happy to do it. Happy to be back in the front, honestly.
And the Pro Tour hasn't gone according to plan. How good is this year to finally get, a little tip to the cap of you, a little pick-me-up the final round of the season?
Yeah, man, no doubt. I mean, I don't even know if P30 in the standings, the worst year of my career in the Pro Tour. But no pressure this weekend. All these other guys, I told them last night, I'm taking you out. Not going to take them out, but they got to play safe, and I got nothing to lose.
Best luck, AJ.
Thanks.
Hey, that's a dangerous A.J. Myers when he's got nothing to lose, right? And he's not wrong. Everybody else is thinking championship. They got to stack points. They got to, maybe I won't make a move here. I'm not going to risk it here. He's going to risk everything to try to go for a race win.
You can see tech underway here as Pro Shifter rolls on through. But indeed, A.J. Myers, when he is smiling like that, that is a warning shot to the rest of the Pro Shifter field. 35 plus. He'll be starting right there, right next to Aaron Likens. Aaron will probably be standing for that one on the front straightaway for their first of 2 heat races later today. We return on the other side of this break with more qualifying action from Newcastle.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Miami, USA.
Right back after it here for qualifying in KA100 Senior. The first of two groups sent on out to the racetrack now. And a very interesting final practice considering the year that Paulie Massimino has had here, Rob. The 940, the points leader, the most dominant 100cc driver over the last two seasons, along with his team, Brandon Jarsicrack Racing, missing out on going into the top half of the field in qualifying. He and Austin Garrison both outside of the cut line for that fast group. They're the first two that have led the pack out. Wanted to wait up, see if anyone wanted to tow them around. Nobody does. They want to follow last year's Pro X30 champ and the current points leader in KA Senior, so they'll have to suck it up and lead it around. It's great to see AG back behind the wheel. Austin Garrison called it a full-time career at the Supernats at the end of last season, and when asking him earlier in the season how he had talked about a couple of part-time appearances, one or two on the year that he having his eye on. He said he always really liked Newcastle. He felt like he always ran pretty good around here, and it's great to see him behind the wheel trying out a Birol art machine, it looks like, for the Speed Concepts Racing Camp. So as they get underway, we go down to pit lane here with K100 Senior presented by CRG Kart USA. Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. Yeah, a little bit of news coming out of that final practice. Reigning champion Diego Ramos has been excluded of today's action from both KA100 Senior and X30 Senior. He was second in the KA100 Senior Championship.
And here is a look, and that is the moment right there, top of the screen, Rob, here on the Shop AKR replay box.
Yeah, they call it the Euro Swerve, and it's something that has already been laid down once in the Pro Tour. Xander, we can talk about Ruben Moya as well. Happened to him in Tucson. He was excluded from an event as well, one of the race days on Saturday for that Euro Swerve in practice. So Diego Ramos excluded from the day, both categories. That is massive.
Yeah, that is big implications in the championship points. Two drivers now. Moya back at round number 1. Diego Ramos here at round number 5, having to sit on the sidelines for all the activities from Newcastle Motorsports Park due to actions on the racetrack. Now, Moya's was not a side-to-side swerve. It was actually a front-to-rear impact. He got into it with Dean Peterson in the practice sessions out in Arizona and got excluded from Saturday for it. But a small hip check there. All the series across the board in the States here have been extremely harsh, and understandably so, about the unsportsmanlike conduct style of certain moves on the racetrack, that being one of them.
And you hate to see it out of one of the pro drivers as well, because the young drivers in the micro, mini, and junior categories look up to these drivers, right? This is the drivers I want to emulate. One day I potentially want to get into one of the seats at one of these bigger teams. You hate to see the drivers in the pro categories, the guys that people look up to do that on the racetrack. And Superkarts USA dropping the hammer in a big way.
And I've said for a while, out of all of them, right, they all kind of have different personalities of how they deal with drivers that may frustrate them, right, or kind of play to a bit of the beat of a different drum than how they like to race each other. We see that on display a lot, whether it's the hand motions or, again, chatter in the scale line. Diego's probably one of those who is the least afraid to let you know on the racetrack as well as off if there's a problem. Or, again, here's another look at some more American Sign Language as we've got one off at the Monza. That is the 931 or 937. 931, Dante Rodriguez. Again, I think that's where cooler heads just need to prevail. In Diego's case, it's a practice session. In anything else, I could understand getting a bit frustrated and losing your cool and wanting to send a message. But early in the day now, and having to pay a huge price on a return to the exact event last year where he got his first X30 win and sealed the KA championship. The number 1 plate will not be seeing the racetrack here in this session or the rest of the day. In this session, though, look at the gap for Garrison and Massimino here, Rob, so far. A full second clear of the next best driver there on the circuit, Josh Leslie.
Yeah, you mentioned when they left the pit lane that Garrison and Massimino not normally found in that first group of qualifying. They're not usually in that slower half of the happy hour practice session. Not sure what happened to both those drivers in that session, but again, not surprising that they're stepping things up here now and showing the pace that we would come to expect out of these drivers.
At the line, this group going to get the checkers somewhere around it here. A handful of them. Let's see, across the line, this is a big downbeat session as well for one driver in particular. Up until that lap, Colin Lloyd on the Hoach Driver Development 961 is a perennial front runner as well. He's still down in the 5th spot. Most of that group coming in. And I believe they may have checkered them all. No, Garrison and Massimino made it around at full speed. They will get another lap. A few more headed to the I-70 corner now. This will be the benchmark for the fast group for sure. An offbeat happy hour session for two of the best in the business over the last decade. Paulie Massimino and Austin Garrison. Current time to beat, they hit a lap ago, 1:11.36 apiece.
Yeah, and good for these drivers working together as well. Like you said, will be a fantastic benchmark. The provisional poll from both of these drivers here are going to be ones to watch. 1:11.363 fast time there for Garrison, a 71.363. Let's see how things roll out here.
Yeah, Garrison will get a good toe up to Paulie. Paulie won't really feel the benefits on this lap, but it was still enough. Massimino at the line there, a 71.29. So that'll put him on provisional pole with a big time to beat, a big delta further back to Camp Chambers.
Yeah, they were just on the outside looking in happy hour. P17 and P18 top 16 moved in, so it's not like they were way back, just didn't get to the cut line. But again, great laps for both of those drivers to get things rolling. A 71.290, the time to beat with the fast drivers rolling out on track.
Yeah, and again, that happy hour, right, even though they were middle of the road, they were still a good ways off the field, about a half second or so for the mid-teens. Now, the draft's going to play a bit of a factor. Maybe they didn't feel like they needed to play the game, or maybe they were struggling. We're going to see how well that 71.2 holds up here as the fast group gets going, because it was Donovan Bonilla who was quickest when the dust settled on Friday afternoon. He leads them out onto the circuit along with Chase Hand, who enters the weekend, especially with Ramos on the sidelines. A really good shot to stand on the championship podium, secure one of the top 3 plates, as Isaac Malcutt is already cutting up through this pack here on the outlap. He was way out of shape there going in the green corner trying to get some track position.
Looks like Chase Hand potentially slowing coming out of the scoreboard corner as well. Keen here on Malcutt. Let's see him draw his first blood here. Again, 1:11.2. Very quick time yesterday afternoon in the happy hour as well for Bonilla, 1:10.613. So 0.6 quicker than we had here already this morning.
Bonilla is going to pull over on the front stretch. He's got to be very careful about the blend right here, just barely in front of Mick Gabriel, and I think that'll be all right if he can put these corners together. And he will through turn number 3 without too much action behind him. Ruben Moya looking a little antsy, and that pack's going to stack up now here on lap number 2. Bonilla putting his hand in the air, I think either to say sorry or to tap the helmet. I couldn't quite see it, but this pack is very close, and I think all of them are going to go 2 by 2 right here. Moya is going to be the first one into the cell tower to mix things up as they have a couple passes as well further back.
Yeah, he's starting to feel that sense of urgency. The drivers want to get themselves to the spot that they think they're going to be able to get the best draft. Bonilla's right there. We talked about Gabriel as well. Moved by Moya to get through. Does not want to sit back there in third. You don't want to get stacked up like that. Moya has got good pace. We'll look over his shoulders, see what he's got going into the shark fin, the dive into the right hander. In fact, he's going to go to the inside of Bonilla as well. This is we've talked about this already, Xander, through the first couple of qualifying sessions. You get a couple laps to potentially make moves like that. Every time you make a pass and give up some of that exit speed, you're kind of washing that lap away. You've got to get it done early here. So this will be what, lap 2, I think, coming in here now. So we'll see how it plays out for Moya.
Malcutt into the top 5. Gaffera moving up as well. They still have not dethroned that first group, but again, this was still early on for all of them, jumping up the leaderboard as we watch the pack roll through turn number 4. Moya's pulled even a little bit away from Bonilla, Eli Warren, and Gabriel, and Isaac Malcutt well up the road by himself. Let's see where his first lap all by his own has put him. It looks like it's been okay for Malkut there in 5th, and only a couple hundredths off the rest of them.
Jose Halfin tried to make it a move to the inside there to see if he couldn't get by one of the FDM drivers, and you can see that kind of aggressive move to the inside of the cell tower corner. That's going to definitely rob some pace coming out of that corner as well, so he had to give up a little bit there trying to get by. Gafera up into the 4th position now. Malkut 5th. See whether they have open racetrack. We know that Malkut was in a pretty good spot getting out there early. See if Moya can capitalize on his move to get by Bonilla. Remember, last lap obviously wasn't good. Made the move by Bonilla, lost it. Here will be Moya's opportunity to show you what he has with open racetrack as he tried to chase down Malkut. Where does he go? Up to 3rd. Eli Warren to the top. Shaking things up here.
That's big for Eli Warren and for Landon Boer on the Prolium Competition GFC. The Kentucky-based group, I believe, split between a lot of appearances of the Music City Kartplex in Nashville and here at Newcastle Motorsports Park with a good lap. This group, as close as they are, not as good as Landon's last lap, but again, this 3rd lap will be the one, and Boer right now is trapped behind 2 karts side by side, Spencer Smith and Jose Halfin. He'll get by one of them. I don't know if this lap will be as good. He's going to need to be picture perfect on lap 3 from all that we've seen. But already Massimino and Garrison down to 9th and 10th, most notably, Rob, with a lap to go. They could find themselves, unfortunately, down in the mid-teens again when this session comes to a head right here.
Let's have a look. It's right now Boer, Warren, Bonilla, Moya, and Gabriel. Fast 5, separated by under a 10th and a half. Open racetrack here for Malkut, but no chance for a tow at all. Moya looking to capitalize as well. They'll get that one more lap to go. Eli Warren still to the top here. Eli Warren on that Holtz driver development number 907 goes P1. Moya up into 2nd, fully leveraging the draft he's getting off of Isaac Malkut. Malkut all alone back in 9th.
And Donovan Bonilla making the pass on Moya. Moya is going to bail. He's happy with that lap. That'll put him good enough. 2nd on the board at the running here for Ruben Moya. Warren still on the circuit. Moya and Bonilla still going good. They're going to get a great tow here on this lap if it is going to hold to the back of Isaac Malkut, who has slipped down the board to 9th. Garrison and Massimino down to 14th and 13th as the backward slide continues.
Boer's going to have an open racetrack now. Remember, he had to make that move to get through and get clear of the drivers in front of him. We'll see if Landon Boer's got a little more in that 9:59 GFC. Malkut still at open racetrack. He's back in 9th position.
I think Boer had to make one more on this lap as well to get by one of the Holtz DDs in front of him. He's got still a teammate in Matt Cagle up the road. They're in that 2nd group. This 1st group will hit the line, though, to really start to shake things up. Malkut is going to be a sail down the front stretch, and Bonilla is trying to use him to the best of his ability. It will only put him to 2nd on that lap. Warren still holding the next group. It'll be Edgar Rodriguez winning out of it all. He'll go all the way up to 4th. But Warren on lap number 3. Hometown home race kid here for the Louisville, Kentucky native. Eli Warren on the pole after under the radar style Friday.
How about less than a 10th for your top 6 as well? Landon Boer ends up in 7th, but less than a 10th of a second separating Eli Warren P1 and Caden McQueen in the Velocity Racing Sody Kart back in the 6th position. Very tight here in KA Senior.
And a much needed solid performance here. Caden McQueen, much like the rest of his brothers and sisters in black and orange, have not had the highest of highs on Friday. Practice session results, P6 will be great to fight from in the pre-final later today as he chases that KA Senior Championship among the rest. He is the highest starter, I believe, of the major drivers involved in the pre-drop standings. Of course, Moya with the drop factored in is certainly going to be a factor in the points, but he's got to be inch perfect both today and tomorrow. Let's go down to pit lane and hear from our top qualifier. Just under 200ths, Eli Warren on pole.
Yeah, Eli, lap number 3, that was a lap that gave you the pole position. Tell me what it means to get it here at a track that you and your dad pretty much call home.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. We've been struggling the whole weekend. We've had sessions where we were 2nd off pace, but we just kept working. We did a lot of work overnight. Got it working pretty good. We were pretty good in the warm-up. The kart felt pretty good. And then, honestly, the kart wasn't as good in that session as it was in warm-up. But I just knew behind, like, Moya and Bonilla, and then we caught the draft of Ike. I knew we were going to have a pretty good lap. I made a few mistakes, especially the last lap. Maybe it could have been faster, but I was driving pretty good, so obviously it means a lot to me. Just huge thank you to everyone that supports me we can still definitely find a tiny bit more pace. I was just like in the right position that lap. So we'll have the pre-final and final. Obviously, it's probably going to be a pack race. I just got to keep my head forward, keep moving. But yeah, the pace is really good. Obviously, we're not really in points. We didn't do Arizona. But yeah, we're just going to work hard and try to get the win today.
Congrats on the pole, Eli.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff for Eli Warren there. Had a chance to talk to he and his dad yesterday. They were struggling with the chassis, thinking about swapping it out. I didn't find out whether or not they did swap to a different Esprit for Holt's driver development. But indeed, whatever they did, they didn't have yesterday when I talked to them. They found it here for qualifying.
Yeah, they felt like they were struggling a little bit to get the go-kart to be as reactive as they wanted over the couple of sessions. And whatever it was, Saturday, a new day and a great start for Eli Warren. And pitted right out of the garage with a great view of the start there. They've got to have his number Holtz TD machine leading them through turns 1 and 2 later on today. We'll be back with more. Qualifying continues here from Newcastle.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Hey guys.
So karts on the racetrack here for Rollison Performance Group X30 Junior as Ashton Woon leads the pack through the green corner. This contingent has gotten now to 25 deep from what we can tell, 24 that have crossed off the grid and gotten this one going. And this season for X30 Junior, when we talk about the points, it's about as close as KA Junior. It's as close as it could be for the major contenders, all things considered. With the drop factored in, things get really, really interesting at the top and down to just about 2. Ashton Woon would be the best of the 3 of 4 rounds thus far. Travis Pettit about 114 back. Pre-drop standings, though, gets things a whole lot different. Pettit with a pre-drop lead. Murphy, Macha, and the others still a little bit closer. Now, that's going to change a lot throughout the day, but they are very, very tight coming into this weekend.
Indeed, like I said from the get-go here in qualifying, if you're in a championship battle, you just simply cannot leave points on the table. 10 points up for grabs for pole. You've got to go out and get it. It's very crucial. It's crucial all season long, but it comes, I think, even more into the microscope when you come to a championship finale where you see where you're actually sitting. So we'll see which driver walks away with those 10 points. It could be a 20-point swing, whether it's Pettit or whether it's Woon, going in different directions. We'll see what Woon's got here. Good pace yesterday. Both these drivers very, very fast throughout Friday's practice. Ashton Woon was quickest with a 109.408. Maxwell Macha was right up in there. Tristan Murphy as well. Pettit and Wyatt, top 5 yesterday afternoon. So the pace is there for Ashton Woon to go out and see if he can't grab 10 points.
There's a look at him as they run across the line. Woon initially to the top, and then quickly they'll all change around him here. His teammate Nathan Golset the second. Pettit a full 10th and a half clear on that lap as he toes up to the back of this group. Yeah. Perfect positioning on that second lap by.
Xander, didn't we see it with Isaac Malkit, right? He was a guy out front there showing good pace, working his way up, but every time he would bounce up to third or fourth, he gets shuffled back down, but the drivers were able to leverage the draft. A little bit of argy-bargy here coming through the double right-handers and into the cell tower corner, but Woon's just not going to have anybody in front of him to get that toe, and it just feel like you maybe need just that little bit. If you can time it correctly, it's going to help. We saw it with a number of situations already here through qualifying. If you don't have that draft, you're probably leaving a couple of tenths on the table.
And with still a minute to go, as quick as they have been and as quick as they all got out of the pit lane, I think honestly this is one of those weekends, Rob, where the timer being a hard 5 minutes versus a stock 4 laps or 3 laps has probably cleaned up the qualifying sessions, because there's more classes than I think we may have estimated being on the limit of whether or not they can get 4 laps versus 3. With the cooler temperatures, that's a huge advantage if you can get it. So it hasn't had a lot of the groups waiting around in the early laps. You've seen a couple of resets. Last couple karts looked like they might have got the checkers that time. It looks like it was pretty far down the board. So we've got about 5 of them that have taken it. 18 still with a chance to go better on lap number 4 and try and dethrone new provisional pole sitter Enzo Di Gennaro.
Di Gennaro, Woon, Pettit, Schniegenberg, Vitor. Top 5 right now. And as Xander said, these guys will be coming around here to complete their lap through the green corner now, back over to scoreboard. Let's see whether or not Woon can find something in that open racetrack in front of him. Travis Pettit as well, those two drivers in the championship fight here. Good lap for Di Gennaro, 108.989, a 68.989, almost 2 tenths quicker than Woon. Let's see how they stack things up right now. Good lineup here for Pettit. He's right behind Colton Schniegenberg, so he'll get the benefit of some draft. Actually, maybe a little far back. Here comes Woon. Does he go to the top of the charts? Checker flag flying to end the qualifying section here for X30 Junior, brought to you by Rawlson Performance Group. Waiting for that 4th lap to populate. See who goes up top. Travis Pettit gets it done. Pettit, 68.869. He goes a 10th quicker than Di Gennaro. Woon ends up 3rd. Murphy and Schniegenberg round out the Fast 5.
There you go. Hurricane Trav, 68.869. And again, look at how close the middle of the top 10 into the teens gets, Rob. 2 tenths there. The difference from Fast and Wyatt up to Colton Schniegenberg, 14th to 5th.
And then go back from Samet all the way down to Aston Wyatt. That is 9th down to 14th, 85 thousandths of a second. Oof. So very tight there, just inside and outside the top 10.
And we look further back here on the board, still relatively close as they start to spread apart down to Emilio Chait Sanchez, who was a DNS on this one. 24 turning laps in X30 Junior, presented by Rawlson Performance Group, for another class lined and ready to go racing later on today. 2 remain on the board at this point, with Mini Swift qualifying and then Pro X30 qualifying before it's time to go racing from America's heartland here in Indiana. 2 classes left here on the board. Mega Power Racing Engines powering the Mini Swift drivers for Group 7 of 8. Ready to get after it. Qualifying continues, and we'll be right back with it.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. And today, we're doing some upper back movements. Here we go. Exercise number 1 today we're doing is the reverse grip lat pull down. This exercise movement is one of my favorites because it works your grip strength, your biceps, and most importantly, works that lat area that also protects those ribs in the seat. Exercise number 2 today, the dumbbell chest supported row. Don't forget, good stretch at the bottom, and bring them right to your hips like that, keeping your back nice and arched, shoulders back. Think about having good posture in the cart. Exercise number 3, the inverted Smith machine rows. Grip strength, back strength, overall amazing workout. Thanks again for joining me on another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. Race ready training that carries into real life.
Motorsport is reinventing itself, and our mission is to accelerate this transformation so that it becomes even more efficient, cleaner, more spectacular, and more sustainable. Welcome to the next generation of motorsport. TotalEnergies and Peugeot co-developed the 9X8, an eco-responsible hybrid electric hypercar capable of outstanding performances.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsports Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make way. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
Attention Superkarts USA drivers. Be sure to order your complete photo package from On Track Promotions. All drivers receive a minimum of 40 photos from throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with instant access from our automated delivery system. Visit otp.ca right now to get instant access to your photos.
Karts on the circuit now here for Mega Power Racing Engines Mini Swift as we close on the latter few moments of qualifying. Of course, you're watching our free coverage here as we get things going for the Superkarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals. We'll be exclusive to KC Pre members for our pre-finals and main events, and well, there'll be a lot of action, hopefully less like that. One spinner off the rip, the 130 of Maddox Carlucci, and another one, it looks to be Grayson Knifick in the Velocity Sodi also on the entry to the green corner here in the infield. So two spun around and backwards as we get going with Mini Swift qualifying, but as I was leading in here, we'll see you again if nothing else for the free coverage tomorrow morning with another batch of warm-ups and qualifying. The Pro Shifter main event free to view. We'll also have post-race coverage today in the lead-up and full coverage of the podium ceremonies. If you want to watch the main events, it's $9.99 a month on youtube.com/kartchaser/join. And if not, you'll be able to see all the replays of the coverage come next Wednesday. But underway here for Mini Swift, presented by Mega Power. 2 classes to go. Full group looks to be on track here of the 21. Slate Harrell leading them around with Marcelo Flores in tow as we get going for their 5-minute session. And again, just like in Micro, Rob, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's going to be just a 3-lapper, so no time to mess about.
Yeah, I like that. One of the things that irks me so much is when they start messing around on the racetrack over the first couple laps, or waiting to slowing up, waiting to see if they can't hook up with a guy they think is quicker. That just drives me nuts, and I hate it when we eventually see a driver's out front. He's got away from everybody. You end up getting someone getting impeded. I love it when it's to the point where you just got to get out there. The lower temps, you mentioned this earlier just a little while ago, that the lower temps also are going to make that final lap even more crucial because they're not able to get it. Everybody right on it coming out of the gate, no messing around, right on the throttle, and we'll see which drivers go to the top of the charts here. And again, we talk all about the championship here. This is the championship weekend. Dutch Westbrook coming in with the championship lead in the category. Mason Brody and Brody Stoffel there in, I believe, 2nd and 3rd. So, again, 10 points for pole. Crucial for those drivers to lay this down.
Yeah, this one's going to be another one that goes just all the way to the wire when you take the drops in, or even if you don't. Obviously, pre-drop standings extremely close there. 27 markers between those two. It increases a little bit, and it flips with Mason Brody on top over Westbrook. But again, that's because Dutch Westbrook has been ultra consistent over the first 4 weekends. He comes in essentially with a banker round in his pocket here in Newcastle, and that is just, again, it's not to the stress-free levels of A.J. Myers, as we heard earlier, or some of the others, but it certainly makes you have a little bit less on your mind or less worries on Saturday, knowing that you still could have a blemish day and end up as the potential champ come a good day on Sunday. Just need one of the 2 rounds to go your way.
Yeah, it really kind of unleashes you on Sunday, right? If you have a really good round on round 5 on Saturday, you got 5 really good, consistent rounds. It allows you to put a little more down, I think, on Sunday, really kind of fight for it, as opposed to just trying to stack points. So we'll see what happens as the guys come through here. We'll get the first couple laps in here. Aiden Go to the top there with a 1:15.1. Now Dutch Westbrook on his second lap goes 1:14.8.
And with a minute to go here, this will undoubtedly be their final time to go any bit better. Cross the line, no other changes from further back. The last couple shuffling a bit on the board. All the way back to Sam Hornish, who will be the last one to get to the timing line, and Maddox Carlucci as well, who's down in 18th. This main pack here, led by Slate Harrell, coming out of the cell tower hairpin, will be the ones that we'll be keeping our eyes on in the fight for pole. Last time through the green corner, Aiden Go closing up, but they're 2 by 2 as Westbrook and Brody went by on Slate. And the passing that may happen here in this group could open the door for none of these 5 to end up leading the field to green. If that next group gets any bit closer, they'll get a huge run down the main straight. You can see a handful of them closing in.
Yeah, those 2 Nitros lining up further back. Westbrook was super quick on lap number 2, let's be real. Over 3.5 tenths of a second faster than Mason Brody. We'll see if it stands here. They had been doing a lot of side-by-side action. As Xander had mentioned, that group further back looking for the pace as well. Let's see who steps up there. Does somebody get the draft here on the final circuit? Westbrook still holding on.
Aiden Go was bobbing and weaving. Hudson Howard up to second.
Yep.
And that'll do it. The last couple stragglers coming to the line will have nothing for that heater on lap number 2. Dutch Westbrook, biggest delta so far of the morning, I believe, Rob, 2.5 tenths.
Yeah, he was 3.5 up on lap 2, ended up being just over 2 on lap 3 over Hudson Howard, so very impressive for Dutch Westbrook. He'll be on the pole for the pre-final here this afternoon. Hudson Howard alongside him. It'll be the 2 RPM drivers, Mason Brody and Brody Stoffel, on row number 2. They were teaming up. They're the ones that got a little bit of a draft there at the very end. Aiden Go fell back to P5.
And as you can see, the rest of the pack there, we saw the spins early for Carlucci and Knifick. Knifick will end up 14th. Carlucci a little further back, 19th. Sam Hornish completes the field of 20. With Samia Chait on the sidelines for the Mini Swift division. 1 class, though, remains with their grid yet to be set for round 5's action. We started chatting to y'all with the Pro X30s on the racetrack. They're ready to get back after it as our final qualifying session is set and ready. On the other side of this break, The headliner here of the doubleheader divisions goes green to set the grid for the pre-final.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea. No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Motorsport.
Cut. You all right, man? You sound way off.
What?
I don't know. You sound like you're asleep still. Is the age finally getting to you? You're only how old? 42?
Dude, I'm 27. I'm not even 3 years older than you.
Well, that's pretty old. Well, that's 3 years away from Masters, dude. You need a little pick-me-up. Try a Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Do you walk around with these in your pockets?
I actually do. Always two. One for me and clearly one for you.
Whatever. Not that old, dude.
Did it help, though?
Yeah.
Pericazo. And you are that old.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation.
Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
Pro X30 qualifying getting rolling here as we get our final timed session on the day. We have been right on schedule. If anything, we were moving a little bit too fast in the morning as the sessions were fast and furious, and now we've got it right on the number of when they were set to roll. Nash Motorsports, your presenting partner, 35 deep in the class, so this will be two contingents of drivers apiece, 17 and 18 on circuit. The first group, again, the bottom half from final practice. First driver outside the cut line, or first of a couple at least, was Davin Roberts. He leads them down the front stretch on the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart. Had a Jose Halfin, Fionn Shee, and Caden McQueen, who has had a just rough go thus far here in Pro X30. He's only really had one weekend, Rob, where I think he was pretty happy with the overall kart and just seemed happy to be behind the wheel of it. It's not that he hasn't enjoyed his tenure with the Velocity Sodi crew. They are obviously in a great spot to fight for the KA championship, but their X30 season has just had, miscues and cartoon anvils left, right, and center. I mean, think about the Cincinnati main event. McQueen was about 100 feet off in the grass, spun on lap number 1, still charged back to 7th, had the fast lap of the race by over a full second. While we were focused up front with Ramos and Turney, Caden had gone from the middle to the back, way back. I talked with Gus Lawrence after the race too. He's like, man, I thought Caden wrecked out, and then all of a sudden I looked on the result sheet and he was right there with me charging through the field. So hopefully, just as we saw in warm-up for the Velocity Sodi driver, an improvement from yesterday. Back about 20th or 21st, and right behind him is another familiar name to many on the Pro Tour's history here at the Summer Nationals. Andre Nicastro joining the RPG contingent. Let's see how those two do.
Yeah, I had a quick chance to chat with Andre Nicastro, former Super Nationals winner in the tag senior category, that great battle with David Serra so many years ago. And the ageless one, like literally, you look at Andre Nicastro, you go back into like 1997, 1998 at the North American Karting Championships in Formula A, and he was racing against the likes of Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso, Kimi Räikkönen, drivers racing Formula A back in the day. So you're talking back in 97, 30 years ago, he was running Formula A. So I just love seeing Nicastro come back, a heck of a driver, and of course jumping right. Yeah, again, I don't know exactly how old he is. I'll have to lead into David Cole on that. Maybe he'll find out for us. But he's got to be in his 40s, late 40s. Probably late 40s, right? And here he is battling against the drivers here in Pro X30.
I mean, I think that sounds about right. I mean, he was a veteran. I remember specifically one of the years that we ran 60 or so karts here at the Summer Nationals that I was driving through the field and was just kind of following Andre as we both had wrecked out of the pre-final that day. That was a wild one, having 60 deep in a smoke screen going down to turn number 1. Thankfully, it won't be that nasty for the 35 of them here in Pro X30. But still a full grid, and equally the storyline continues with the no pushback bumpers as well here for this division, along with X30 Junior and K Master. The Masters won't have a problem this week, but they haven't had a problem all year. They certainly haven't needed it at all, and that was to be expected with the respect and experience. X30 Junior's been pretty tame too. Pro X30 has had mixed reviews really from the front runners and really just turns 1 and 2. I'm curious how these 90-degree corners are going to fare, because realistically, Rob, that 90 at the beginning of the MCC layout is so flat out you could call that a straightaway bend. And so we've had our first 2 Pro Tour weekends with 180-degree hard-braking hairpins when the pack is stacked up. So now we're going to have, I feel like, one of the safer opening sectors of a racetrack that maybe some of the I don't want to call it cries, but some of the absolutely valid complaints of the roughness without having that pushback fear isn't as bad.
Yeah, you're right. With the 90 corner there, and they'll bring them up slowly. You see how the start line is so far down as well. They won't be carrying a lot of speed into the corner. A lot more speed, of course, into the corner at Tucson. So I'm with you. I'm hoping for cleaner starts and for the drivers to kind of take care of each around them, because you got to get through the first couple of corners, because you get through one, and that 2-3 combination, people really start getting aggressive, diving to the inside of turn number 3 as well.
Yeah, turn number 3, such a fun passing zone, and so fun for us to capture as well. And there's plenty of them around the racetrack as we see some more moves there with Nicastro getting by one in the cell tower hairpin. Now, the first few times coming in, we know the checker's going to hit this time with the 5-minute timer already going past that for group number 1. McQueen, a 68.26. Davin Roberts, just shy of a 10th off of him there in second. Nicastro third.
And David Cole checking in. Nicastro, 45 years of age.
There you go.
Running here in the Pro X30 class, currently sitting P3. Love that for Andre.
Certainly helps bring the average age of the division up. They've got some years to catch up to. The Pro Shifter average age up front especially is got to be creeping up on the 3-0 mark here, almost at the Masters minimum. Checkers out. McQueen, last lap, not enough to go better, and he will lose the top spot. Jose Vitor Cabanas to the top of the board in the number 350 machine. Over McQueen, Roberts, Hector Iturriaga, and Nicastro sliding down to 5th. 68.188, time to beat.
Yeah, 73 thousandths of a second separating Cabanas and McQueen up top. Roberts, Iturriaga, and Nicastro, though top 5 within about 0.3 of a second. So good laps there for Cabanas, McQueen, and Roberts as they're within about a 1/10.5. Then you go another 1/10.5 back to Iturriaga. So the top 3 drivers, we'll see how they shake down. But Jose Vitor Cabanas with the fast lap 68.188.
And so here we go. Pro X30 Group 2 now lined up and ready. Paulie Massimino, Ruben Moya ready to lead the field out to green. And again, that empty spot behind Moya. What an important day today will be in Diego Ramos' championship hopes. Unfortunately, in the wrong direction. Great speed across both divisions in final practice. But that row position will go unused. And again, they are allowed to go wherever they really want to. So while they'll be lined up in order, waiting on the grid here for the front of them, they're going to clear them out. And Moya going to take his sweet time. He'll roll from the tail.
Interesting for Moya to come from the tail like that. We talked about the draft playing some kind of a role. He's waiting for the drivers further back. He was quickest yesterday in final practice, a 107.824. Moya on the Forward Direction Motorsports Pantano chassis. Speaking of that North American Karting Championships, Giorgio Pantano racing at Super A back then. I remember watching that race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Those were pretty cool events. I know a lot of people that are in the sport now don't remember those events at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The North American Karting Championships, of course, the Formula A. They had the Formula C World Championships there, I believe, in 1998. But the endurance guys ran the big track. And then there was actually an oval on the Outback Speedway outside the back straightaway, which was a paved oval, and the WK Pavement Series would run an event there as well. Plus the Briggs & Stratton 300, which was a 300 lapper
on the quarter mile,
right? On the quarter mile on the front straightaway for big money back in the day as well. That was good stuff.
Yeah, it was something I got to see this year running with the Marga guys at Daytona, talking with Kevin Williams about brainstorming that idea as well. Again, they've obviously returned to Charlotte Motor Speedway with a number of WK events over the years in coordination, and yeah, there is some found footage. Probably one of the first, if you go back historically, YouTube videos you can find that has been uploaded from some of the TV coverage that was back then from the North American Championships. I remember seeing and coming across that. What a cool event.
Yeah, there was some European coverage, right? Because obviously there was a European event. There was a couple of channels in Europe that did some filming as well.
Yeah, what a different look from nearly 30 years ago now, and crazy to say that as well, but what the factory efforts looked like then and what they look like now, and equally what our American efforts have come up to in comparison. It is the cream of the crop right here in both the drivers on track and Pro X30 and their best foot forward equipment and team-wise. Here is the points leader, Joe Turney, leading Donovan Bonilla, and one more of the RPG drivers right behind him. Mike Rollison has a full house. Gus Lawrence further back. That's Jake Drew in the 329 as we get used to seeing him in the new colors. So it's Bonilla, Drew, and Gus Lawrence all tagging on the back of Turney. First lap's coming in, and it's Gus Lawrence on a heater on lap number 1, already jumping up the board to third.
Yeah, Gus Lawrence, Paulie Massimino, they need this 10-point bonus. Turney's in a great spot, as we know, to potentially grab this championship early, but the bottom line is that a guy like Gus Lawrence needs the 10 bonus points. He's got to sweep the day if he's going to have any opportunity to potentially grab this title away from Turney.
Yeah, he needs a perfect day. He needs Turney to hopefully, to make things really interesting for tomorrow, have a rougher go. But again, Turney has had a lot of success in his limited starts here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Last 2 times he was here, he's won. If we go back at least to the Pro Tour, of course, won on the weekend where he clinched that 23 title. He also won in his lone Newcastle Motorsports Park start last year at the U.S. Pro Kart Series. So as he rounds out of the final turn, back then he was on pole. Let's see if he can score it here. This will be the end of the second lap. We think they'll get 4. He's going to get a toe off the back of Doan, but so will the cars behind him. They will go better. Lawrence and Drew quicker than Joe Turney here at the end of lap number 2. Gus Lawrence now still holding as Moya populates.
Blake Nash was the first to draw blood. He went P1 with a 107.965. Then Lawrence, Moya, and Drew went quicker. So right now, 56 thousandths of a second separating first and second. But again, as we said, only the second lap. Look for lap 4 to be the best, or whether or not a driver may pull in early, we'll see. Otherwise, Lawrence is on top right now, 107.601.
Donovan Bonilla struggled there in the cell tower. Looks like Lawrence will get a great toe off in this lap. Meanwhile, up the road, that's that 4-pack there with Hodgson, Jesus Vasquez Jr., and a few more that are being tracked down by Turney and Doan and company. So a few packs spread across, and then again, keep your eye on Ruben Moya on the left side of your screen on that pylon, letting the whole pack go. He's going to be the last kart to cross the line. He has caught up to the back couple here, and this is potentially going to hurt him for lap number 4 with the way he's timed it. This will be a decent lap, I think, at the rate that he's got them, but I don't know if he'll be able to cleanly get by both cars in front and have a good toe on the 4th lap around to the line. He's going to try and get 1. No, it'll be the checkers here for him, only on lap number 3. The rest of the field's going to potentially get 4.
But he does go P1. You said it looked like a good lap for him. He didn't wait till the end. That strategy did not quite play out. If it does, if he's able to go on lap 3 with a 107.5, we'll see 9 thousandths of a second up.
And watch this. Turney had to go by Eric Doan into turn number 5 as he caught him. Drew could not follow and he's still stuck behind Doan. Now, if Doan can put the good lap together, it shouldn't hurt Jake too much. No, he's going to go past him here in the green corner. That'll put Drew back forward. Lawrence is also caught up to Bonilla, and then here's Paulie Massimino's group, leading Nash, Vasquez, and Hodgson. But Moya, 3 laps. These guys will get one more shot to beat him. 9,000's needed.
Paulie dropped the wheel coming out of short fin. He's going to lose the gap there. This is a big move to the inside for Nash. Does anybody have anything for Moya? 3 laps for him, 107.593. Here comes the final lap. Checkers in the hands of Aaron Likens, who's going to come away with it. Hodgson tucks to the inside. He'll stay P5. Moya still on top.
Still holding strong there as that whole group flurries on by. Nobody able to put anything good together. James Overbeck with a big shocker on the last lap. He got in as well. He towed off the back of Finnegan Bailiff. And Ruben Moya, 67.592. That's 3 sessions in a row on top for the Pantano.
Sitting here waiting for the confirmation from me, right? Just waiting to find out if you were on pole or not. That lap was good enough by you, and you played it perfectly. Waited for everybody to go out. You were the last car to hit the racetrack. Kind of tell me about that pole position there.
Yeah, it's nice to be back on pole again. It's back-to-back poles after round 4 in Cincinnati. It was decent lap, was not perfect. I got a little traffic on the last lap, so I just improved like half a tenth. I could improve like 1-2 more, but yeah, if it's enough, it's all what it matters.
Yeah, and again, last year we saw how this place raced as well. What is it going to take for you to stay out in front this weekend?
We will try our best. The race here is difficult. There's a lot of drafts, so we will need to be very, very calm, use a lot of brain, and try to not get crashed or something like this.
Thank you, Ruben, and congrats on the pole.
Thank you.
Ruben Moya, top of the heap in Pro X30 by the slimmest of margins, 9,000ths of a second for the Forward Direction Motorsports Pantano. And it's about time for us to get ready to switch over. KC Premium coverage coming your way here. Pre-final action on tap when we return from Newcastle Motorsports Park as we get set to go racing for the Summer Nationals. K Master on deck right now. They're about to roll. Then it'll be K Junior and onward from there through pre-finals and the opening heat race for Pro Shifter. All coming your way next here. So stick with us.